So speaking last at the SAFETY4SEA in Cyprus is the big honor. Everybody's a little bit tired, I understand, so I'll try to be as entertaining as possible. I don't think I'll do a good job at that. So the human element and maritime security. So the IMO has addressed the issue of the human element, and amongst others has mentioned security. And it also says that all need to cooperate to address human element issues effectively. I think we all agree that the human element has a big play in security, and when we're talking about security, we don't mean cyber and all that new age stuff. We're talking about protecting people. I'm very proud to work in this company as we have exceptional personnel. But let's look at what is security. So security is the state of being free from danger or threat, not just as individuals, but also as a business. And if we look at the global incident for the past year, we'll see that there have been 335 incidents globally reported. When we say reported, we mean to the international bodies like IMB, UKMTO, MDAT, Gulf of Guinea, and all those other interesting organizations out there. Focusing on West Africa, which is our favorite topic and favorite geographic region, there were 151 incidents in the past year. And a closer look at Nigeria, which is my absolute favorite place on the globe, after Cyprus. We had a lot, and they're all focused, of course, on the eastern part of the country, which is the oil-producing region, and we have most of the incidents. They include attacks at ships. So the yellow, I don't know if you can see it, yeah, okay. So the yellow is a ship that's been attacked, and when we say attacked, we mean it's been fired upon, either by AK-47 fire, RPGs, heavier weapons, heavier calibers, etc. The red is hijacked. Yeah. So in Nigeria, the aggressors will target any kind of vessel. It's not about product theft anymore, it's about kidnapping and ransom. So anything that has people on board is fair game. They have very little respect for human life, so they will shoot to kill. But the good thing is that maritime security services in Nigeria have a very good impact. I love this slide. So these are my buddies in Nigeria. I stay at their house when I'm there, and there are a lot of incidents that are reported because of them. In other West African countries, we'll see that Benin, although we hadn't heard much of it in the past, has become a hot point because in the past couple of months they have hijacked 2 tankers, taken them deep offshore, and demanded ransom for the release of the vessel and the crew. It takes a very short time. The companies involved in this were the Union Commercial and Anglo-Eastern. Now, they didn't come out with any press release in regards to how they liberated the vessels, and everybody can understand why. If we move to the Indian Ocean, old topic, people are usually bored about it and they tell me that Somali piracy is dead. I beg to differ. We've had 82 incidents reported, much more unreported. Taking a closer look at the Bab el-Mandeb and the Gulf of Aden, we will see that this is where the bulk of the incidents have occurred in the past year. Now see, this is my problem. You see all that fine print, I can't read it down there. But anyway, I'm not going to read out the whole thing. It's the MT Muskie. It belongs to a Greek company, and actually the text there is taken from their website. So it's not a secret or anything. The Muskie is time chartered to Aramco, and it was heavily attacked by 10 people on board skiffs. Well, 10 people were reported on board one skiff, and there were 2 of them. This vessel had an armed security team on board, but unfortunately, they were caught a little bit unprepared. They managed to throw 3 RPGs that landed on the vessel. Another 2 didn't land on the vessel. There was significant damage to the bridge, but thank God, nobody got hurt. This is the latest incident, and it happened on April 3rd, and it was a Bahri vessel, the Abqaiq. Now, there was an armed security team on board again, but no skiffs around. However, there was an explosion on the fore starboard side. From forensics on the actual vessel, people understood that this wasn't an RPG attack. It was a surface-to-surface missile that was launched from most probably someplace around Hodeida. The incident took place 46 nautical miles southwest of Hodeida. So to recap the HRA of the Indian Ocean, we have pirates and we have rebels, militants, Houthis. 82 incidents reported, as we said. The danger from Somali-based piracy is a little bit different, but it is very much existent. And in a discussion I had with the Minister of Interior of Somaliland, he said that on the border between Somaliland and Puntland near Bosaso, there are Al-Shabaab and Daesh affiliated groups that are camped there. Basically, they deal with the Houthis across in Yemen, and they do all the illegal weapon smuggling, drug smuggling, people smuggling. And it's interesting to see the people smuggling because we noticed that Saudi Arabia is full of African illegal immigrants recently. So this is where they come from. A good question is what the naval forces in the region are doing. They're not doing what we're talking about. They have their eyes on totally different things. Southeast Asia is the lesser known cousin of the maritime security world. People tend in the West not to give too much attention to the East. However, we've had 95 incidents reported in Southeast Asia in the past year. So in my opinion, the maritime cluster should be worried about Southeast Asia, although not much focus is shown there. The crews, when they transit that region, we understand are very worried, and there are services that we provide in that area. The authorities, of course, are very worried. There's a tri-national agreement between the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia to fight maritime criminality, but they haven't been very successful in doing that. And of course, Abu Sayyaf is a very well-known militant group that is essentially based in the southern Philippines, and what they like to do is kidnap people from ships, and if ransom isn't paid, they chop their heads off and they put the video on YouTube, so that's not a good deal. This is funny. Actually, this vessel was attacked in Southeast Asia, and it's called the motor tanker Kudos 1. Now, the interesting thing here is that although they were firing at them, the aggressors, the crew managed to pour boiling water mixed with oil over the attackers. Who does that? So these people actually made a brew, and they went on deck and started pouring them on the attackers. Kudos to them, but you know, it's something that I wouldn't advise crews to do. So the human element is quite flexible. You have people that are afraid, and you have people that are very excited about things. Apparently, we're all different, yes, and the human element comes into play. So if we're looking at the privately contracted armed security personnel, which is our guards, for example, the human element will focus on their experience, their training, how diligently they follow our SOPs, what support they receive from their headquarters, how we give them intelligence, how we treat them, how good care we take of their families, if they get paid on time, if their families back home have what they need. And of course, how we communicate with them and how they communicate amongst themselves. We focus on the individual personality and character traits of each and every one in order to be able to give a service that we're proud of. If we're looking at the crew, there's a humongous human element, and I've seen all sorts of different things. Saw the Kudos 1 crew basically did what they did. I've seen crew, when we're under attack on the vessel, muster to the bridge and run around like headless chickens. I've seen other crew members that have done exactly what they're supposed to and gone to the Citadel, and everything has happened according to plan. But their experience, their training, the company procedures that they're given, their culture, where they come from, how they've been brought up. Personal issues. Do they have personal issues? Are they sad to be on this ship? Are they happy to be there? And of course, all the other onboard dynamics, including interpersonal relationships. So their individual personality and character traits come into play as well. I took this picture. No, I didn't. So looking at the criminals, yes, they're humans too, and they have an element to them, many elements actually. Background, society, reasons of empowerment. Why am I doing this? Who is helping me to do this? The activity they're engaged with, the governance that they have in the area of operations that they're in, their culture, their psychology, their beliefs, action ratification. Okay, action ratification. In Nigeria, for example, they're very unhappy that they're not seeing any other money. So they consider all the Westerners, especially the whites, that come into their country and steal them. They rip them off of their natural habitat, their natural resources. And every single white person is a target. It doesn't matter if you're a pastor going there to teach them how to live better, for example, you're still a target. We also see militant groups and pirates in Nigeria that come both from the north, Muslim, and from the south, Christian. They don't care. They don't have any differences right there and then. Their focus is on the goal, and their personality develops through that. So a human element comes into play with them as well. Where does this all leave us? I hope everybody's scared stiffless, and you contract armed security personnel for your missions, but there is hope. Risk is apparent, and pirates, terrorists, militants, robbers, psychopaths are all out there looking for the right time. The weak spot in the opportunity. We don't have, what we should do is not give them the opportunity and not provide them with a weak spot. The human factor is in all stakeholders, and it's flux and liquid. We cannot control it, but we can organize ourselves around it. But the good thing is that there is hope. And it's the first time I've spoken within my time limit.